Hey everybody, currently live, so we'll get started in just a few minutes. I'll just, let's see, what do we got here? I'll give you another minute to settle in. Maybe two. All right, I think it's time to get going. Welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, April 15th. I'm looking out the window, very beautiful day. Started kind of cloudy, but now the sun is shining and the sky is blue, blue, blue. Today, we're going to be drawing a super cool animal. Going to be using a lot of colors. And I'd like to just briefly, quickly dedicate this drawing to my sister, who I'm sure is working very hard, homeschooling and all the fun stuff, making sure the boys get to their art lesson on time. That's me. Anyway, so here we go. Today we will be drawing my sister's favorite animal. Ta-da! An owl. Or, the top half of an owl. Not the whole owl, mostly the face and some of the feathers, but I was feeling kind of rambunctious this morning, so I figured I'd try and incorporate all the colors in the box. So I might have left out a couple, maybe one or two colors, but this is going to be a very colorful drawing, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it, I hope. And just like every other time, we're going to start with our marker. We're going to make a few key lines, a few guidelines. That's going to inform where we're going to start putting our color in. We're going to stay loose. We're going to have fun. And yeah, make sure all your favorite colors are sharpened. And I'll leave this out here for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and we'll get started. We're not here to talk about anything serious. We're here to have fun, and we're here to focus on happiness and being nice and drawing fun pictures. So just a reminder that the whole purpose of being here with me is to escape and have a blast, draw or make a cool piece of art that you can enjoy all day, maybe even all week. So with that said, I'm going to turn the page, get a nice clear piece of paper going, nice clean white sheet, and we're going to start. All right, here we go. I am turning the page to a nice, clean, white sheet. Booyah. Nice. All right, as usual, we are going to start with our black marker. And again, we're just going to make, I don't know, 10, 12 lines. That is going to help us to add all of our colors in. All right, so y'all know that an owl doesn't really have a nose. I mean, it has a beak and with, nostrils, I'm sure, under those feathers somewhere. So we can't really start with the nose today, but we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to start with the beak. Okay? So I'm going to come in, I'm going to find the middle of my page, whoop, about there, maybe from the top, whoop, and I'm just going to come up just a little bit. And I'm going to make his beak sort of an upside down teardrop, or water drop. All right, and you can make this in 2 strokes, or you can make it in 1. I'm going to try and make it in 1 stroke. And I'm just going to go like this. There we go. Just gonna move my sketch pad up a little bit so you guys don't see all the scribbles on the other page up there. There we go. Okay, the next lines we're gonna do are gonna be above the eyes. Okay, and these are gonna be big arcing lines. All right, I'd say well, not too big, but maybe about like that. I'm going to start just off the center of the beak, okay? And I'm going to come up pretty high and stop about there, okay? About like that. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. They don't have to be the same size. You know what I say. When they're not perfect, it adds character. But, relatively close. You can tell mine are a little different. Maybe I'll make this a little bit longer. But again, these are just guidelines that we're going to use to get our colors done. So a lot of this stuff gets colored over. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the top of the head line up here. This is probably the trickiest line in the drawing. And I'll tell you why. Because it has to include a little bit of a flick up here for the ear. All right, then it comes across. And then it's going to dip, come back up, across, and then we're going to flick back up for the ear. It's a tricky line. But keep an eye on what I do. In fact, just to keep it simple, I'll do it in 2 parts. I'll do this side, and then I'll do this side. I'm going to connect it in the middle, okay? So just take your time on this line because it is a little tricky. Going to start up here, come down, sort of flatten out, dip back down. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm going to connect it, sort of flatten it out across the middle when I come to connect it. Flatten out, dip back down, connect it. Okay, I think everybody's probably got that figured out by now. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in the eyes. This is pretty easy, but it's just going to be a series of circles. And the last circle won't be quite complete, but the first two will. So maybe somewhere in the middle of what I've got for an eyebrow here, I'm going to draw a circle maybe about the same width of the beak, right about in the middle, and just like that. Not really sweating it too much. We'll get in there with some color. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to be exact. You can see that mine are a little different. That's okay. The next set of circles is going to be inside these circles. They're going to be up towards the top. About like that. Do that on both sides. Now, the last circle is probably the trickiest one because it's the biggest one, okay? Now the key to this one is I want it to be a little bit closer on the inside, and when I come to the outside it's going to be a little further away from our middle circle. And it's going to connect to our eyebrow. It's not going to go all the way around. It's just going to be most of a circle, maybe 75% of a circle. So I want it to be further away out here, and then get a little bit closer as I come back towards. And I'm going to do the same thing over here, and I'm going to stay closer on the inside, bigger on the outside. Okay, so closer on the inside, bigger on the outside. You know, not perfect, but PDC, which is short for pretty darn close. And we just have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 more lines to make with our marker. One of them is a fun line. The other two will be look very familiar to you. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give him a little bit of a chin here. Just a little bit. Not really a chin, but, you know, a little outline where maybe the bottom, you know, where his neck begins. And it's going to kind of be like a bubbly line, frilly, bumpy, not quite the lightning type of line that we've done in the past. More like the end of a doily. If you don't know what a doily is, ask the person next to you, maybe they do. If there's nobody next to you, I'll show you what a doily looks like. Kind of looks like this. Boop, 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 boop. I know that's a funny, goofy little line, but that's fine. Maybe just make it look a little more. Looks, I made a mistake, but I don't even mind because I'm having fun. Who's having fun? I'm having fun. Okay, 2 more lines to make before we move on to color. And you guys are going to know exactly how to do this. If you've done any of my drawings before, you know exactly how to do these lines. I'm going to do those lightning bolt lines out here. Okay. I'm going to imagine that this comes straight down. I'm going to start a little bit outside. You know what? I'm going to come out all the way to where the edge of the ear is. And right where his chin starts, that's where I'm going to start this line. And I'm not too worried about this line. We're going to be packing a lot of color over this line. So these are just guidelines out from the side of the ear, starting at about where the chin is. That ought to do it. Alrighty. Cool. Okay. So before I start putting in the color, I do want to just give you guys a couple ideas, maybe might consider it a tip or whatever. I'm going to do an owl with a ton of colors. If you want to do just a single color owl, a purple owl, a brown owl, a yellow owl, a gold owl, orange, red, whatever color you want to do, you can do this. But grab as many different shades of that color as you can. So if you're going to do a green owl, I'll give you a minute to grab all the greens and maybe turquoises, anything that has any green in it that you can find, and get them out, get them sharpened. But for me, I'm going to try and use as many different colors as possible. I'm going to, stick to my rules of working dark to light while I'm using different colors. So I'm just going to show you all the different colors that I've chose today. These are all, I got a red, an orange, a yellow, I got a dark blue, a purple, a turquoise. So I've got a lot of different colors here, right? And if you can kind of use your imagination to see how I can arrange these colors. Let's see, that goes there, and maybe that goes here. I can kind of arrange these colors from dark to light, even though they're all different colors. So I'm going to start with my dark, and I'm going to slowly get towards my lightest color. I might skip one here or there and come back with it later. But in these initial steps, I am still going to try to work from dark to light. So if you're working in one color, you want all your greens, try and work from dark to light. Okay? So my darkest color just so happens to be blue. So that's what I'm going to start with. I actually have a couple different blues in there, but I'm going to start with my dark blue. And just as always, I'm going to kind of use my imagination to think about where the darkest parts of my owl might be. I think probably, I don't know, maybe inside the eyes. Oh, one more thing. And we did this with the little piggy on Monday, is we used the angle or arc of our pencil strokes to enhance the shape of certain features. Remember, we did that around the snout. We're going to do a lot of that today too, because the owl has a lot of really cool shapes, especially in the face, which we've started to outline a little bit here, but we're going to enhance with our colors. So my first line, I'm going to start like this and come in towards the nose some, okay? And this is going to really help us bring in that owl's very, very distinct shapes and features. Maybe he's even got some more out here. Just use your imagination wherever you feel like some of these darker colors might be falling. I think maybe there'll be some out here at the bottom of the ear. And you can see how I'm using my black outlines as guidelines. In fact, I'm going to color blue right over the top of this guideline, because that's what my imagination just asked me to do, and I listened. My imagination knows how to draw much better than I do. Maybe he's got some more dark lines out here. Some more feathery floof going on down there. Maybe a little bit more. I'm going to do, let's see here. I'm going to give him some, do this little floofy feathery chin I made. I'll put that in there like that. And lastly, I'm just going to add it here because I feel like when I start adding lighter colors, this is going to make for a really nice layer. I'm going to color right over these lines too. These are the guidelines I made with my black marker. Coloring right over them. No big whoop, right? We're having fun, we're staying loose, and we're using our imaginations. All right, I think that's enough dark. I'm going to sharpen it up because I'm going to put it down, and if I need to pick it up again, I want it to be sharp if I need it. I'll sharpen it up here. Put that aside. Okay. Next, I'm going to grab my second lightest color, which for me, coincidentally, it is another shade of blue. Even though I said I'd be doing a lot of different colors, and I will be, I promise. It just so happens my second lightest color that I've chosen today is blue. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in. I think close, oh, I broke it. Just a moment. Sharpening. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but a gathering of owls is actually called a parliament. Isn't that crazy? And that concept actually goes all the way back to one of my favorite books, the Chronicles, or series of books, the Chronicles of Narnia. C.S. Lewis, the guy who wrote that book, came up with that term, a parliament of owls, in like 1945 or something, and it stuck. Ever since then, everybody, including biologists and people who study owls, call it a parliament of owls. I thought that was pretty cool because he wasn't he wasn't into, formally studying animals. I'm sure he did some studying of animals while he was doing his writings, but he came up with a term that was outside of his speciality, and it stuck. I just think that's an amazing fact. Anyway, back to drawing. I'm going to use my second blue here, my second lightest color, chase around my darker color a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit in here. And I'm keeping in mind that I'm going to be adding a lot of color, so I'm not going to use too much of any one color. I'm going to try to move on from my colors pretty quickly, because the whole point here is to get a lot of colors in here. And again, it's just my technique to chase around the colors I've already laid down. It helps me remember where I'm at. It helps me layer my colors, and has always kind of given me a pretty cool effect. So I'm just going to kind of keep doing what's been working for me. Maybe different things are working for you, and you have different techniques that you've figured out over the time we've been drawing together. Feel free to use any tip you might have picked up along the way to make your drawing better, or just more fun. All right, I'm going to switch to my next color. I'm going to put this blue down. Sharpen it before I do that. All right, so let's get crazy here. My next lightest color happens to be this sort of pinkish, I don't know, it's a medium pink. It's not too light, not too dark, but it's sort of third in order in the way I've arranged my pencils from dark to light. Looks like I didn't leave that one sharp enough. So I'm going to add in this color kind of all over the place, but always going to think it out before I start laying it down. I'm going to imagine that there's a little bit under the ear here, and put that in. I'm going to imagine that there is a lot under the eye. I don't know why. It's just something that I feel like is going to work for my guy here, my little owl here. Okay. Maybe I'm going to leave a stripe on top of this dark blue, but I'm going to try to weave this in between. Ooh, barely fit. Barely fit. Do the same thing over here. Cool. And maybe down here a little bit more. So yeah, we're starting to get this layering effect. We're starting to get some stripes and some colors going on, and man, I really like that. You know what? I'm gonna give him or her, this owl, how about some pink tips on the ears there? That's funny. That's funny. And maybe just a A little bit of extra color right there. I don't know why. I just thought that would be cool. Is there anything else I should do with this pink? I think I'm going to go like this and just fill in a little bit above that dark line. Yeah, that's like that. So as you guys can see, and I always do this, and I can't tell you guys this enough. It's important to work your pencil in a way or at an angle that, you know, supports the shape of your animal. I'm just going to put a little bit out here just for emotional support. That's where I want it. All right. That's looking pretty cool. I just have one more little part I want to do. I'm going to lay this pink in right down the middle here. Yeah. And I'm going to leave that open in the middle so we can add a lighter color in there later. I'm going to sharpen this guy up. Put aside. Okay, my next color is orange. And again, this is just these are the 3 colors I've used so far. And you can see how it goes from dark to light, even though they're all different colors. So I'm using orange. I'm on my 4th color. And this one's looking pretty sharp. Oh, just kidding. I just broke it. Uno momento. Okay. So I'm going to put this color in where I feel it might be. I think I see it under the eye. And again, I'm going to use my stroke in this direction now. Maybe he's got some feathers coming in under the eye. This pencil is not cooperating. Let me sharpen it up one more time. And if it breaks again, I might have to try a different color because it just doesn't want to cooperate today. All right, there we go. There we go. I'm imagining the feathers are going in this direction here under the eye. No big deal. Not perfect. That's a little darker than I wanted it, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Not too worried about it. Certainly not stressing out about it during drawing time. Maybe he's got a little bit of a stripe right here, over here. Maybe, let's see here. Maybe we could work in some of it down here. How about down here? Down low. And maybe there's some mixed in. And maybe there's some of these curved lines on the outside of the eye. And maybe there's some on the inside. I'm purposefully leaving a lot of white space in here because I want to give myself the opportunity to keep adding colors. I think that's enough for my orange. Let me see, maybe just a little bit out here, give them a little bit more width. Okay. I'm gonna sharpen this up, put it aside. I don't think I'll need my orange again, but if I do, it's sharpened. All right, my next color is green. Okay, it's a light green. At least it looks light. There we go. See? And I'm going to add this wherever I feel like maybe this guy needs some green. I think I'm going to do a little bit under here. A little bit under here. Oh yeah, we're really going crazy with colors today, huh? How about, I'm going to do it in here. I'll do it a little bit under here. Cool. Maybe he's got a little bit in the ear. Now that my white paper left behind is getting thinner and thinner, and I'm getting less and less opportunities to pack in color, my squiggles get they get a little smaller, and I'm applying these colors a little more sparingly as time goes on because I don't have as much white space to work with, but that's okay. That's what happens when you layer colors, and part of today's session is seeing how we can use all these different colors in new ways. Maybe the green fits in under here. You can see how the layers are really starting to come forward. You know, maybe there's a little bit here, coming into where that orange was. And maybe there's a tiny bit up here, just so the color is represented there. Okay. Alrighty. The last color I'm going to use, again, from dark to light, is now my lightest color. Okay. And I'm going to use this the same way I've kind of used all my other colors here, right? And I'm going to use it in the shapes. In the shape. I'm going to make my strokes in the shape of the feature. So around the eyes, I'm making these circular motions. Okay. Under the chin, I'm using these arcing lines here, scribbly lines. Okay. Just 1 second. And in here, I'll kind of finish off this big white space here. Finish off under here, the bottom of the eye. Maybe he's got a little stripe in there. And a little stripe up there. This guy's looking pretty cool. Lots of action, huh? Lots of action, lots of shape, lots of form. I like that. Maybe just a little bit more in there. Get some color into that little white area. Alright. And I'm going to go in here and just put a little bit more of the same color right down the middle. And down here. Okie dokie. Cool. Sharpen this guy up, put him aside. And we're just going to color in the beak. Well, for me, I'm going to use two colors for this. I'm going to use a dark orange and a light orange or a gold. And it's medium orange, I guess. Start with the medium orange or the darker orange and color in the bottom. And this pencil is coloring in the bottom like that. It doesn't matter what it ends up looking like up here. I think I'm going to put this orange away because I keep breaking it and it's causing delays in my exciting drawing. Alright, you go back in the jar. And the next color I'm going to apply to the beak is gold or light orange. Even yellow would work here. I'm just coloring in the top. I'm not too worried about it. That's pretty easy, right? That's it. That's all it takes. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to hang on to this gold and I'm going to keep using it. And I know we've done this in the past, and it's a little different than what we usually do. We're going to use this to fill in all the white paper in between all of our scribble lines, but we're not going to fill in under the eyes or in the middle of the chest here. We're going to use this color to kind of fill in around the perimeter. We're going to saturate these colors. It's going to help make these colors pop. But again, under the eyes, okay, and out in all in the center of the chest here, we're not going to do this too. So we can do it all up here. So I'll go ahead and just color in the whole brow area. This is my yellow, or gold rather. But you can see how when you pack the color in between the, in those little white gaps where we did all these loose lines, lots of color. When you put the yellow in on top and in between, it just really makes those colors vibrate. Really pop forward. All right? And then, like I said, I'm going to do the same thing all around the edge here, and I'm going to stay away from the middle. We're going to leave those white gaps in there. All right, coloring in all that white area. See how rich those colors get? Just going to sharpen this guy up. Okay. I'm just continuing to fill in around the middle and around the eyes, but not all the way in there. Maybe a little, maybe it comes in a little bit. But let's leave that white for now. We'll see how it looks when we get to our next step, and if it needs some color, we'll put it in there. I'm just sharpening up. Another fun fact about owls, and maybe you need a little bit of knowledge of geometry to understand this, but it can turn its head 270 degrees. So a full circle would be 360 degrees, and an owl can turn their head 270 degrees. That's 3/4 around. So not only can they look directly backwards, they can even look further directly backwards and start looking the other direction with their head backwards. I think that's pretty amazing. Still packing in this gold here, or yellow. This base color that's making my other colors really, really come to life here and really pop out. I'm saturating everything that I did on the other side over here. There's another little tip, drawing tip I wanted to share with you guys. I watched Alley Cat draw the little piglet the other day. I think that was Monday, and she ended up drawing it in the afternoon because she was busy in the morning, right? And I kept seeing her go like this, and her paper was moving, and she's going this and this and this. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I always have my other hand on the paper or on my pad so that my paper doesn't dance around, okay? Now that helps for a couple reasons. For one, it helps keep my paper flat, so it's easier to apply color. The other reason is when I'm moving my hand, my paper can kind of spin around on the table, and that can be a little frustrating and it can be a little challenging. So I always have, you might even see my hand follow my other hand around a little bit. It just helps me control what I'm doing. Another thing is I'm standing while I'm working. So I can move almost my whole body and be drawing over here. So you probably are sitting down. And what you can do is you can turn your paper to get these different angles. You can turn your paper even all the way upside down if for some reason that's helping you get the angles you want. Feel free to move your stuff around, and you want to be comfortable while you're making your either your arc lines or a diagonal line or anything that might be challenging you. Maybe it looks easy when I'm doing it because I'm actually moving my whole body around this drawing. Okay, that was just a little tip. We're done with that. I'm not criticizing Allie's techniques. merely trying to enhance and, you know, give her a little bit of help so that her experience while drawing is fully realized at the end, because she just simply loves what she's done. All right, so you can see I've colored in all my gold where I want it. Okay. And I've left some white in the middle here. And you can see that kind of gives it a little bit of depth. So I'm going to move on from my gold now. And I'd like to color in the eyes. Now earlier, when I did my practice drawing, I did gold eyes, which I thought looked pretty cool. But I kind of wanted to see what the owl would look like with bright blue eyes. So I am going to get the brightest turquoise blue I can find. Okay. Now the coloring in these eyes is, it can be very simple. We can just color them in. But I found a little trick earlier that I thought was pretty cool. Actually, you know what? Before I color in the eyes, I'm going to grab my black marker. Why don't you guys do the same? And let's just color in around that circle, that inside circle. We're going to leave that white space in there as a reflection. All right? Let's do that on both sides. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to color in my eye. My eyes. Okay. So like I said, I was going to grab the brightest bluish turquoise I could find. I really want these eyes to jump to life. Now, like I said, there's a little bit of a technique to this. And the first part is to color in, let's color in just the outer edge here, okay? Just the outer edge. All right, I'm gonna do that on this side too, just the outer edge. I think this is gonna look cool. Right, see that? Now in here, I'm gonna color in the inner edge. I'm leaving a little bit of white in between that and the outline. Outer edge a little bit more. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another blue. It's just going to be a little bit darker, okay? Little bit darker. Let's see if this does it. That's perfect. Taking a little bit darker shade of blue, okay? Maybe that's not dark enough. Although I do want to do the same thing on both sides. Let me get a little bit of a darker blue. Hang on a second. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if this does it. Yeah, that's gonna do it. Okay, yeah. So there's my little bit darker blue. Now I'm gonna connect it. Fill in the white spots a little bit. It's just giving a little bit of extra texture and shape inside that eye there. A little bit. Oh, sorry, my hat's in the way. Turn my hat to the back. I want to cover up what you guys are seeing. All right. See how that kind of gives a little bit of extra character and fun to this guy. All right. Woo! Those are dark blue eyes. Keep this dark blue out for a second. Because I feel like I need a little bit of color in here. So I'm just going to make a little wiggle. Little wiggle in there. A little detail. Okay. Just fixing up a little area that it looks like I missed earlier. Okay, cool. Sharpen this dark blue up before I put it down. And down it goes. Let's see here. What do we got next? You know what? I'm just gonna grab my gold again because I want to put the gold in this little chin area too. Make that look. That'll help unify my decisions I made earlier. Cool. Maybe bring it out under the eyes. This is the gold that I use to fill in between my scribbles. I'm just using it to give a little bit of separation between the eyes and this middle floof, this middle feathery floof. Okay. Neat. Let's see here. What do we do next? Okay, next step, I think we should do. I'm gonna get a darker color. I'm gonna add a little bit more. I'm gonna use a dark color that I haven't used yet to not only add a little bit more color, but to add a little bit of shadowing. And for me, the one color I don't think I've used yet, I mean, I can tell I haven't used red, but that's not quite dark enough for me right now, even though it's my favorite color. I'm gonna go with purple, a dark, dark purple. Okay? And I'm gonna make some shadows where I think they might be. So he's got this very sort of heavy brow, and I'm imagining it being pretty dark under there. So I'm gonna, you don't have to, maybe you want to put your shadow somewhere else. But I'm imagining that it's pretty dark under there. So I'm giving my guy, my little owl here, a nice shadow under there. Yeah, that really looks nice. I'm gonna do the same thing under the chin here, under this doily floof shape I made. Okay. And just kind of let it run up and meet the other colors. You know, maybe it's got a little bit of a V shape to it. Okay. And maybe supporting underneath this layer is a little bit of darkness too. Again, I'm just kind of using my imagination, wondering where it might look good and putting it in wherever my pencil agrees with me. Let's see here. Wow, today flew by, huh? I'm going to do a little bit more under here. A little bit more under there. A little bit more under here. Okay. Do a little bit out here. A little bit right there. Yeah. Cool. I think that's a good amount of purple. You know what? Maybe there's just a little bit under the eye too. Some little shadows created by all the little feathery layers that are under there. Maybe a little bit out here too. Oh yeah. I like the way that looks over the pink so much, I'm going to do it in here. I'm just going to do a couple little lines. I really liked the way that looked, so might as well take advantage of the things you notice while you're doing them. I just put in a couple of horizontal little purple lines in here to maybe mimic the end of some of the feathers in there. I did it by accident, and I liked the way it looked so much that I did it there on the sides as well. You know what? Maybe there's a little bit of that going on in here, just to make it look like suggesting that there are feathers in there. I think that looks pretty neat, actually. I just made that up. I don't know where that came from. And that's cool. It came from my imagination. It was kind of an accident, and I loved it. All right, so we are going to get ready to... I might as well mention that, you know, owls do not have whiskers. So I'm going to get my black colored pencil here and do something we always do, and that's some of these little bit suggestive outlines around the whole guy here, okay? I'll start on the outside, and again, I'm not outlining everything I've done, just a couple little bit of flicks of the pencil is all we're gonna need here. So maybe up here there's a couple. Well, maybe right there's a couple. Out here, definitely. I broke it. My shortest black pencil. All right, let me sharpen this up. Jeez, might be one of the last times I get to use this pencil for you guys. I'm gonna have to get a new one. So small. Look at this guy. What am I supposed to do? I'm gonna get back to work and I'm not gonna worry about it because it's just a pencil and I can get more. Maybe there's a little bit in there of layering. This next mark I'm going to make is really, really going to help separate the head from the neck. So I kind of want you guys to do this along with me. Remember how we made the little doily, bubbly line under the chin? We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do it almost all the way out to the edge here. And I'm just going to chase it right underneath that orange. See how that kind of, just with that one line, broke the head away from the body and really gave me that separation. It looks really cool. I'm just going to add a little bit of that action up here. In between the green and the orange I put up there. And a little bit of that action here. Not much. I just saw these little gold gaps and I thought that it would look good right in there. And I mean, I think I was right. You might disagree. That's okay. We all are entitled to our opinions and our creative endeavors. All right. Man, that's looking really cool. This super hyper colorful owl here is really making me excited. I really like this girl, guy, owl. I got every color in there, but you know what? You know what color I don't have in there? I'm going to give you one guess. You guessed correctly. Red. I got to pack some red in there just because that's my style, and I have an extra 2 minutes to do it. So maybe there's a little bit under here. This is just going to be a little bit. Oh, man, I broke so many pencils today. Sharpen this up. I'm going to finish this drawing up for you guys with red. And I guess this will be the wrap of today's drawing. I'd like to thank you all very, very much for joining me. I had a lot of fun. I love when I come up with these opportunities to use every color in the box. Because usually I try to stick to something that might be a little more predictable as far as the colors go. You know, if I'm going to do reds, I'll do mostly reds and oranges and yellows. But today I really wanted to try and use every color. And I think we did that. I really do. I'm just getting a little bit of red in here. You don't want to forget about your favorite color. All right. Cool. I'm digging it. Maybe red tips. All right. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as I did. I'm going to sign my work. Boop. Oh, my goodness. I had to break one more before the end of the day, didn't I? I must be just so excited about all these colors that I'm pressing down too hard. So, sorry for all the broken pencils today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget, be nice to your parents. They'll be nice to you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your owl, and don't forget to upload your picture to your drawing to the page. I really appreciate it if you post it directly to the page, not into the comment section. That way, so when it posts, it goes, right into our gallery, so we can all enjoy each other's drawings all at once. All right, have a super day, guys. Bye.